How we doing, guys? Welcome to the preview and the predicted lineup. Spurs against Arsenal, the North London derby. I'm laughing because I'm so excited. This is that fixture that I love more than any other fixture in the Premier League. And it doesn't matter about the battles against Manchester United back in the day and, you know, the battles at present against Man City and Liverpool for titles and whatnot. It's this game. The North London derby. It's bragging rights, it's everything. It's beating them absolute swamp dwellers. I cannot stand that football club. And listen, it ain't just Arsenal fans and me. Speak to Spurs fans. They're exactly the same. They absolutely detest us. And they've got every reason to detest us, to be quite honest with you, because we're the biggest club in London. And we're certainly the biggest club in North London. And everybody knows that 100 odd years or so ago, it's more than 100 years ago, and they still go on about it. We moved from south to north and we took over. But what Spurs fans conveniently forget is that Arsenal were actually a North London club before them. So for all of you that are not familiar and would like a little history lesson, even though Spurs are where they've always been, it's never been a borough of London until 1966, I believe it was. They were a part of Middlesex, and it wasn't until the mid-60s that they became a borough of London and became part of North London. So with us moving to North London, Highbury, many years before that, we were technically the first club in North London. So Spurs fans want to keep going on about it, still singing songs about Sol Campbell because he decided to leave your shit club to go and actually win big trophies. You're in our shadows and you always will be. You are an insignificant, nothing football club. Worthless. There's phrases made after you. Spursy. Whenever somebody does something wrong, Spursy. Absolute nothing club. Haven't won a league title since the 60s. Early 60s. 61 in fact. When was the last time they won an FA Cup? Last trophy they won was the League Cup. And I think then it was called the Worthington Cup. It's now the Carabao. It's had about 20 names since they last won it. Insignificant nobodies. That's what they are. But this is a derby. It's bragging rights. And we just have to put up with our noisy neighbour giving it all of this. Oh, you moved from south to north. Oh, shut up. Can't stand the club. Can't stand anything about them. Absolute toilet bowl. So, listen, this is a big game so early in the season on the back of the international break. And I know there's been a lot of doom and gloom over the last few days, looking to this game because of injuries and everything else. But I'm not one of those that's actually looking at it in terms of doom and gloom. I'm looking at it and thinking, do you know what? It doesn't matter what team we go out there with. Mikel Arteta will have them drilled and set up in the exact same way that we would if the likes of Declan Rice and that were playing. And I'm very confident that we will go there and get the job done. We've done it last 2 years in a row. It's not a place that we should fear. You know, we've won more times at Spurs' new stadium in the last 2 years in the Premier League than Spurs have at the Emirates in 20 odd years. Shows the levels of our clubs. Major levels. Remember that. But, listen, there's injuries, there's question marks, some doubts. I've just watched Mikel Arteta's press conference. I've watched the press conference with Postecoglou as well. Richarlison's not going to be playing for Spurs, but he's shit anyway, so not really any news to worry about. Van der Ven Solanke look like they're going to be fit. Were some question marks over them. Some question marks over Yves Bissouma, which would be very interesting because I think he would be a big loss for them. But I do expect him to play. But the interesting one is Mikel Arteta's press conference, because obviously we know Declan Rice is missing. He's suspended. Gabriel Jesus is in training at the moment, and he said that he's got another session later today, and then he could well be involved. Calafiori is going to be, having some more checks and whatnot done, and he could well be involved. But the most interesting one was Martin Odegaard, because when you look at the injury he picked up on international duty and you look at all the reports and what's being said and everything, you were like, okay, well, he's going to be out for a couple of months. But Mikel Arteta's not ruled him out of this game. Now, is it a bit of, kidology? Is it Mikel Arteta just kind of going, I don't want to give too much away and make him think he's available or something, or we don't know. He said that he's, wants to play in this game. He wants to be a part of it, as every player does. And that they're going to be doing a few more tests, and a lot can happen in the next 48 hours. And that's interesting. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think he's going to play. But the lineup within itself, I've seen so many different permutations, different suggestions and talks about what we could possibly do and everything else. And I feel that what we need to do and what we need to make sure is evident is like formation and everything, and the way we play is not going to change. And the personnel will change, but they all know how to play that system. I feel that we will have that double pivot. I feel that we will be looking to exploit their high line. I feel that we've got the personnel to exploit their high line. And defensively, where we've not really suffered those problems with the injuries. I know you're talking about Calafiori, but I don't think he would have started this game anyway, and he's not like a Gabriel or a Saliba, etc. So the stability of the backline is unchanged, and that gives me confidence that we can set up, soak things, and then counteract and hit them where it hurts. And if Odegaard is not playing, which I don't think he will, like I've said already, Bukayo Saka is going to be captain in the side. And, we've seen him put the armband on when Odegaard's come off recently, which is why my presumption is that he will be the captain. And for me, I think that's a big thing. One of our own, London boy, going out, leading Arsenal at Spurs in the North London derby. I love it. I absolutely love it. Bukayo Saka would absolutely love it. But what a moment for him. Lineup's going to be very interesting. Normally we sit up, here with a lineup and whatnot, and we go, okay, we know what this, and this is, but this is where there's going to be some juggling and where some question marks are going to be. I've seen a lot of talk this week about Nwaneri as well. He's such a talented boy, 17 years old. When you watched him for England in midweek with the under-21s and whatnot, and he looks so good. And I'm just thinking, any other game but Spurs away in the North London derby, do you throw him in that absolute cauldron? Or do you just kind of, not yet? Because it could go one or two ways. It could be a masterstroke, or it could be like a baptism of fire and send him backwards. With the lineup, this is what I am going to go with. Starting off in goal, David Raya. Very, very straightforward decision, and there's no question marks over this one. Right back, Ben White. Again, very, very straightforward. Right centre-back, William Saliba. Left centre-back, Gabriel. Again, absolutely nailed on. No questions at all. And then left-back will be Jurriën Timber. I don't think Calafiori would have started this game, even if, there wasn't the question marks over his injury and whatnot. But Jury and Timber up against either Brendan Johnson or Kulusevski, more than capable of dealing with that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do with in terms of the back line. Now, the midfield. This is where you will have so much debate. I'm going to go with that double pivot, Jorginho and Thomas Partey. And I know some people have sat there and said the legs and everything. Thomas Partey will be the one that gets more license. Jorginho is the one that's meant to calm things and be composed and continues us playing the way that we continue to play. I feel that that's the best, the most experienced in that term. I can't see Kai Havertz dropping back into that kind of left centre midfield. I feel that Thomas Partey will be more of that person. Very, very good with the passing and being able to be very intricate and open things up. I just feel that that's what Mikel Arteta will go with anyway. On the right-hand side, we're going to go with Bukayo Saka. And yeah, that's a very, very straightforward one. This here, the Martin Odegaard position. This is where there will be... It's so difficult because we're losing so many players in one area. Normally you lose one player. It's so debatable. But I got a feeling that he may well play Trossard in this area. I don't know why, but I just feel he will. I can't see him playing Kai Havertz further back. And I'll get onto that in a moment. We haven't really got anybody else, apart from Wanyeri, who we spoke about. But I just can't see that happening. Could the likes of Trossard and Bukayo Saka rotate and Saka became more of that right centre? Definitely, because he's one of those players that can pick up the pockets. I think it may well be that. It's an interesting one, that's for sure. Could you play Sterling on the right-hand side and have Saka in Odegaard's role? It's risky taking him out from his preferred position. But I don't know. But that's what I'm going to go with. On the left-hand side, Raheem Sterling ahead of Martinelli. For me, I feel that Raheem Sterling is the perfect player against Spurs' high line. He is the perfect player for that. Experience, knowledge, you name it, he's got it. And by all accounts, he's been very good and very sharp in training over the last couple of weeks. Not worried about throwing him in. Played in bigger games than this. Absolutely no question at all. For me, he will start this game. And then up front as the main striker, I feel it will be Kai Havertz. And I feel that with Tottenham playing that high line, Havertz will drop. Havertz will become creative and will look for those flicks and those little intricate plays where the likes of Sterling, Saka, etc. can exploit. So that's what I'm going to go with. So it's an interesting lineup. It's a very unusual lineup because of the injuries in such a specific area. But listen, we will see what happens. And we'll see what Mikel Arteta goes with. If Odegaard is fit, then he simply comes in for Trossard and the rest will stay as I've got it. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And I'm very much looking forward to it. So listen, let me know in the comment section what you think of that lineup. If you don't agree with it, what would you go with? Remember what I've said. There's certain, reasoning behind the selections. Let's just remember that. But it's an interesting one and it will certainly cause debate. up until, you know, kick-off and Mikel Arteta announces his team and everything. But North London derby, go and get the 3 points. Please go and get the 3 points, man. And we will see what happens. So listen, if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.